And when you're putting up the long tongue and groove, you really do need somebody hanging on to the other end so you can fiddle it into place. Well, good morning. What a beautiful October morning. It is sunny, it's warm. I've had to take my coat off. A welcome change after yesterday. Yesterday was all wet and cold and rainy. Well, I started on the ceiling of the van yesterday with a bit of help from my dad. But in truth, it's quite high up and difficult to do. So the idea was to wait for Bronnie to come home, because on those long tongue groove planks you really do need somebody holding the other end. They're very, very thin and they're so easy to snap off. So, and if you're struggling on your own, there's always the danger, of course, that you just muck things up. It's better to just wait it out. So, but there's a couple of other things I can do in the time being. Let me start by showing you a little bit of the roof. And it literally is a little bit of the roof that we started yesterday. Okay, so literally that is it. Believe it or not, that piece on the left hand side, the small piece that's going to the plastic conduit above the door, that took ages to scribe out. I mucked up the first one. That was a bit of a waste of a bit of wood, and then this one's not looking too bad. So we put in the first two strips. They're nice and square to the roof, so happy with that. I have still got to take all of this stuff out today now and finish the flooring down there, which I am definitely doing today. That's going to be done next. But I don't know if you remember, on the last video there was a piece of wood coming across the back of this, which was going to be like the edge to the floor and the back door. I'll put it on the screen now, but as it was very, very, very orange and not too happy with it, in all honesty. So in fact you can see the orange there. So I've started to sand that back this morning, and then I'm going to paint it the anthracite grey, the same as the wood underneath the bedding, come away from the sun there. And we'll see how that looks. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, but at the end of the day, it wasn't looking right, so may as well do it now before it's all fixed in. I'm not too sure what they did before we had electric power tools, I've got to say. They are marvellous, aren't they? And I could have done this all day because the sun was shining and it was gorgeous, so it was actually lovely just being out there in the sunshine, considering the day before being so wet. With the back step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 coats of the grey chalk paint, the anthracite I think it's called, which is the same paint as below in the garage area, and then about 5 or 6 coats of varnish. Now that might seem a little bit excessive for a strip of wood at the back of the van, but the thing is with that, and on the side step people will be walking over it, and on the back step it's a matter of pulling stuff out, you know, when we pull out the canoe, if we pull out the plastic boxes or whatever, it's just wear and tear. It wouldn't take too long before that was looking quite scruffy if you don't do it properly. I just think it's just going to be making a much nicer finish. It's certainly better than that orange colour. It was, I don't know, it didn't look too bad I guess on camera, but in real life it was really orangey, and considering that for the same make but in the stain as opposed to the varnish, it was much darker, much nicer. But you know, it is what it is, and at the end of the day we can only do what we can do. But so the fact that I've had to sand it all back is irrelevant really. I think it's just nice to get it right. That chalk paint is great stuff actually. It doesn't leave too many brush marks. It comes in a pretty matte colour, obviously it's chalk paint, but it's coming out with a really nice finish. Got it at B&Q. It wasn't such a hard, it's not so difficult to get right with chalk paint, I find. While I was drying, I got on with the floor. The actual, I'm laying the floor out on this particular day, and then the actual sticking down part, Bronnie will do that on her day off. I think we're going to be doing that together on Saturday, although in truth I've been told, I say being told on the internet, according to the internet, there's a storm coming in on Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes, you know, whether we'll do it on the Saturday. Unfortunately, she's working on Sunday, so there are some jobs that we can do in the van. One was sticking down the floor, and then secondly put the first coat of undercoat on the wood paneling on the sides of the van. So she'll probably crack on with that. This table has been a godsend. We haven't even started building the furniture yet. But you know what, it's a marvellous little bit of kit. £99 from Screwfix. I'm not suggesting that 99 quid isn't a lot of money, it just, but compared to some of the table saws out there, it's probably a quarter of the price, and for the amount of use that I would have out of something like this, I think it was ample to pay, and it's been marvellous. It's got lovely clean cuts on it. And it's nice and easy when you're doing strips of wood like this, and I'm hoping the same with the furniture. When you're doing long cuts, it gets nice and straight, which is always difficult when you're using a hand tool. I guess there is an element, of course, with boys with their toys as well, so that works. It's a shame we didn't go in that shed though, because it's going to cost me now to put something up. But having said that, I need something else. That shed is only tiny, in fairness. So I think the floor is looking pretty good. This is the last few pieces going in. And as I say, I'm going to just leave them there, because the gluing down part now is going to be Bronnie's job. Okay, so I prefer this anthracite grey on the back now that I've stripped it all down and painted it and varnished it, and I prefer that to that orangey colour. So the last 2.5, 3 strips, they're sort of laying there at the moment. They've got to be trimmed down and then stuck down, but I think it's looking alright at the moment. Again, on this side, don't need to be too fussy around the edges, because it's going to be built over, but the outer parts of the planks will be showing, but not the inner parts. And this is looking in from the other direction, so I don't know how much you can see of that, but I think it's looking okay. Had a really nice weather today, so been able to crack on with that, and hopefully I feel like I've made a little bit of progress today anyway. All I've got to do now is stick that down and finish the edges. Perfect. Just so desperate to start getting this underway, ready for Camp Quirky next year, which has just been announced. I think tickets are available if you want to go from I think it's the 21st or the 22nd of October. It's the Monday anyway. So they'll be available online should you wish to get yourself a ticket, and hopefully see you there.